Okay.
All right, so is everybody
Call us to
okay?
order.
So we'll call the meeting to order, 6 o'clock, and we have a quorum of 7. I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. The minutes of January 22nd, I actually read them. They're pretty good. Alan does good minutes.
Wait a minute, where do you see January 22nd?
So, oh no, wait a minute.
February.
February 15th, sorry. Yeah, February 15th.
Don't mess me up.
Yep, got it.
Motion.
Make a motion to approve February 15th.
Yep.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment for anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, so we'll move on to the meeting date, Mike, page 18. I mean, I know it's just a, clerical thing, but I'm just explaining it, the reason.
No, just for what you were talking about, anecdotally, I'll be away and some other stuff to deal with that Monday. That's the date we had wanted to have the BNC vote for the release of the TIF and the BWP for public review. So if we can move that to Thursday, I'll be around to give the staff help on that if we move it from that Monday to the Thursday. If you're available.
Yeah, I'm fine. Is everyone else okay? I mean, I know you're not going to be here.
Andrew's not here
Andrew's not
either.
going to be here.
The
You
date
guys
is
going
what?
to be here? Because sometimes we have trouble.
It's
22nd?
questionable. I'm
26th.
coming back from
April.
Portugal that
Yeah.
morning.
Okay,
so
I
don't
get
know if I'll
surgery.
And I'm coming back from
Next month.
somewhere on that
The what?
Sunday, so it doesn't really matter which.
So what date are we talking?
The 26th, which is a Thursday.
I think I'm here.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what happens, Mike. I don't think we have Leslie, Wendy,
I don't know
well,
if you'll have
Barry.
Leslie. I don't know if you'll have Leslie back by then.
Yeah, April. She's
Okay.
back in,
Maybe we could, Eleanor,
I just talked to her today.
what time does the meeting have to be for Barry to be here? Can we make the meeting at 6:30 so he can definitely be
Can't get
here?
here until 7, normally. But he's off on Thursdays. and
Oh,
sometimes.
okay, all right.
So if you give him enough notice,
Just so that we don't have an issue
he's
before
off
we
like
even.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, isn't it, Andrew, normally?
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll have to see how it goes. So do we have to vote for that, Mike, or just say yes, or?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we need a.
All right, so I'll accept a motion to change the meeting to the 26th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And Eleanor, I won't be here, and Andrew won't be here for the 26th,
Okay.
in case I forget to tell you that.
Mike,
Yep.
before we get started on this next thing, sure that everybody at the table has gotten at least one phone call about this. So just explain everything.
Oh, he's already fixed it.
I know you fixed it, but you know what I mean. This is like weird. I did read the notice after we talked.
Yeah.
I mean, it is odd, really written. That's for sure.
It says deceiving.
Yeah.
It's highlighted in the packet, the notice that was printed in the paper. Travel lanes will be reduced to 10 feet wide. I should note the GPI measured that the travel lanes are, in some areas, 9.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
Existing now, so they're not necessarily narrowing them to 10 feet.
I know.
To widen them, so it was just.
We're widening to make them narrower, but they're actually wider.
The idea is basically just to maintain the lanes, so I believe that's going to be the strategy moving forward, is just put the markings where they are in place now, because widening the road itself, the pavement of the road is beyond the scope of this particular project. So we asked for
I've already
1
yelled
foot
at him
shoulders.
about
As part of the condition, 1 foot shoulders is understanding the feasibility of widening the road to include 1 foot shoulders and widening the travel lanes themselves. It's in the road safety audit that was done last April. It's just that project, the widening, couldn't be incorporated to this project because the dollar value is just not significant enough to do that. So we're the scope of this project, just essentially just maintaining the travel lane width, and we can try to investigate widening the road as part of some future project when there's funding to do so.
And yet they can put the gravel, 1 foot gravel on both sides.
Well, there's not paved shoulders.
No.
What you're talking about is a little bit different than adding paved.
We should be
shoulders.
doing
Road safety
paved.
audit identified widening the travel lanes out. It's, the feasibility of that and adding paved shoulders. So that's really the optimal
But right
treatment.
now, right now, the plan is to cut 7 miles worth of gravel, 1 foot
Oh, no.
things on both sides.
Really?
Well, they
Yeah,
put down-
that's what
They
the
shouldn't
thing
do
said.
that either.
Well,
That's
ready
worse.
After it settles in, to pave it in the future.
Who is coming up with this stuff?
I don't know, I'm not sure if I really understand.
If you read that stupid notice,
Scope or if we're just-
if you read that notice,
I didn't see
if you read that notice for Milestone Road, does it not say, forget the narrowing of it, which was stupid, but it does say a 1 foot gravel shoulder, does it not?
It just says 1 foot shoulder
I don't
Of
think it
what?
says gravel. Asphalt.
of asphalt.
Okay, well, that's in the notice.
And quite honestly, that was a request by staff to add 1 foot shoulders. Somewhere along the line, there was
Okay.
confusion about having the 1 foot shoulder and then the lane width. So
Why is it in the notice if it's not going to be done?
I think that's what we're talking about, is just the correction to the note, the wording in the language. That we're not narrowing the lane. and
Right.
There's really not
Nope.
shoulder added, so it's maintaining the existing configuration.
Yeah, but why is that in the notice if nothing's changing right now?
It was written wrong.
Why is it in there at all? Why are we talking about Milestone Road width or not width at all if the status quo is remaining, so there's no changes made to it?
That's what we're talking about, clarification of the language in the notice.
But why is the road in the notice?
Everybody realizes that that language is wrong.
I know, that's not what I'm asking.
Someone in Boston.
If no change is going on Milestone Road, width or no width, why is it being advertised at all if nothing's changing?
My hunch is, and I haven't spoken directly, but there's been a lot of written email chatter. Staff requested 1 foot lanes.
Right.
That's in the road safety audit.
That's what we
It's
want.
at-
Yes.
Yes, that's what everybody wants.
I'd say two.
Widen the travel lanes and widen the
On
shoulder
each side.
pad
Right,
shoulder.
but if it's not changing, why are they advertising for it now? Because they're not doing it now.
Because there is restriping being done, they are adding that, and I can't explain why this was made, other than I'm saying the language is going to be changed, and that's what the engineer for the project, the project manager for the project, all agreed that we can change the language to say maintaining travel lanes, and maintaining the location of the striping.
Seems kind of pointless to even
Mike,
have it in there if
can I-
nothing changes.
Can I ask a question off of all this? Who is responsible for fixing what's wrong now, like broken edges? Who does that? Do we?
Yeah.
State highway.
So
They're not doing it.
because whenever this gets pushed out, there should be 2 feet on each side. By the way, the
Yeah.
shoulders, not 1.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. The
We're
vehicles
driving
are
on the
riding
shoulders right
on the
now.
edge of the road. If that road, it should have been 24 feet total width
I know, I
with
already said
10-foot
that to
travel
him.
lanes. It's just true. It's not barely 21 in some spots. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. They do have some berms in certain areas where it was originally back when they did this in 2009, I think. But they took some spots, and instead of having the actual pavement width, the same width as the bermed part, they pulled it in a foot.
Yep.
You can see it. It's like, you don't have, this isn't like an opinion. This is what they did. We're suffering now with what, because it's too narrow, it's why it's broken. It's not because trucks are too heavy or we got other issues. It's because the road is narrow.
Driving on the edge.
All right?
I'm driving all over
Now-
that white line.
Now, what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to say is if we're going to mobilize and they're going to do all this, thank you for the double lines and all this other stuff, this is more important, fixing the road, than anything else. And if they don't fix the road, but they're realigning and doing this other stuff,
What's the
it
point?
kind of comes back to like, who's making these decisions? People don't understand all the state stuff. They just see words and stuff out the windshield. You know what I mean? And they don't understand how. That's why I'm asking you. There's a couple of spots right now, they're not going to make it. It's pretty bad. Like you're going to hit the edge and pull your car off a little bit.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, who fixes that? Like, do we just call the DPW and Victor comes and fixes it, or is this go through the big gobbledygook thing?
No, I mean, there's a small budget provided to DPW, through state, through
Okay.
DOT. and
So they have other
for
funding.
Smaller maintenance type of projects. Where you're talking about is an improvement project, which is.
Yeah, that's a big,
significant more
huge thing.
money
I understand
to
that.
do something like that. And that's an issue throughout the entire state. Every community has their roads that they need to have fixed, and there's a finite amount of money that's available for that. We are actually benefiting from having these improvements done for Nantucket here locally. Mass DOT had a high crash rate last year. Federal Highway actually instructed Mass DOT to spend $2.6 million on a rural community. That money was spent on Nantucket because we had a project with identified needs ready to go. So we're very fortunate that all the communities in the Commonwealth to get that funding to improve Milestone Road. It's not perfect, but I think we're
I know what
talking
you
about
mean.
an order of magnitude greater project.
It's essentially like paving the road over,
It's
even
not
though
improving
it's
it. Nothing's happening. It's not improving it.
Well, he's talking about safety with striping and different things versus the actual width.
That's not $2 million worth of striping.
No, he's not saying that. He's saying eventually we'll do that.
What is part of these milestone improvement is $2.5 million, $2.6 million.
We're getting 2.5 million and they're not widening? What are they doing for 2.5? Now I sound like Linda.
They're doing something with stupid with Tom
But I'm
Nevers.
just asking.
No, I think the resurfacing job was in the neighborhood of, I want to say $10 million when it was resurfaced in 2010. I mean, it would be a lot more now these days with the price of asphalt. It's a lot more. So this legitimately is an order of magnitude different project from what you're talking about for what money is actually available. $2.6 million is not what you need to do what you're talking about. Well, there can be things that are addressed and will be addressed with the bus pull-offs, which will improve traffic flow, have accessible crossings, which don't exist now for any of the transit stops. There's some
Striping.
intersections that are identified in the Old South Road corridor study are being addressed, so that's less funding the community will be required to pay for those improvements. And the restriping that you've already talked about the no passing
Double lines,
zones.
yeah.
And bike path improvements. Right now, there's no accessible ramps along the Milestone bike path. At a number of different, at all the major intersections,
Ramps?
none of the crossings are
Curb
considered
cuts.
to be accessible.
Oh,
So all of those other multimodal projects are being funded by this 2.6 million. If you want a wider project, I think that's really the point of next Tuesday is to have these types of comments collected at that meeting, that there is a desire for a future, again,
yeah.
order of magnitude more project that was done that does address exactly what you're talking about, widening the road out, the rotary, at least to New South Road, to do the widths. And I would make sure if the commission would like to have the chair speak to this, have an exact road width that you would like to see. I think that's
Well,
very important.
here's
It
a
will
s-
have to be addressed by
Yeah.
the state, because every question
Mike.
has to be addressed.
When you go to the Cape, you're driving down one of these little roads, like in Harwich or Mary Dunn Road, those roads are way wider than,
Yeah,
they're
they
like
are.
26.
Finney's
with
Lane is
shoulders.
wider with shoulders.
And Bunker Road, now I've got out of my van with my tape measure. Don't laugh, but that's what I do. I'm like that. I want to know exactly what the width is. That road is 22 feet edge to edge, like to the inch. Lawrence Lynch did that. That thing is like, you can measure it in 5 places at 22 feet. Sconset Road is not 22 feet. And I'm talking about the whole width. We're squeezing a travel lane into a road that's not wide enough. We're trying to pass mopeds on a road that's not wide enough to pass a moped without no car coming. It has to be no car coming to pass a moped. It's just wrong.
Otherwise, you're stuck there.
Huh? No, ma'am. I know, but you can't fix stupid. That's why we're putting double lines. We're getting double lines all the way to Bean Hill. That's taken 3 years. This is a very snail-paced process to fix stuff.
Do not engage. You need to
Okay.
come to the machine
No,
and
I'm
say who
sorry.
they are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ma'am. I
Because
didn't
Eleanor
mean to.
needs to know.
Yep. So, Mike, so what I'm saying is 24 feet total width for a road that's 50 miles an hour, it's appropriate with 11-foot travel lanes. That's what we
60
should
miles per
have.
hour.
Sloped
60 on a good.
berms, the drainage goes off when it's not, when you get a heavy rain, the rain is already off the travel way. That's what that road should be. I'm just saying, for full safety, mopeds aren't going away, they're not going on the bike paths, that's where they are.
And that's
Being-
what the roadway safety audit documented, was there was a need to widen the travel lane and add shoulders to the road. Whether 24 is actually the width that you actually want
Yeah.
the road to be, that's up for discussion
Yeah.
too. But it should be greater than what it is now.
Yeah. And you have Festival Lane's wider than that, I'm just saying.
Well,
Being honest.
I've got another pet peeve for that, because I came back in from the Westbrooks at night, back in December, I think it was, and it had been pouring rain, I mean, really pouring, and it was at night, and I had water over the top of my freaking car, because the puddles on that right side, not so much the left side, but the right side coming in, going west, I hit one, I couldn't see anything for a good 10 or 15 seconds, so I couldn't tell if there was a car coming at me, because those puddles
Build up
on that right side, because whatever they did, they screwed up the drainage, and there were puddles on that right dragging your car into the trees all the way into town. I'd never seen it like that before, but I hit one puddle and I had to stop, and I didn't know if anybody was behind me or coming at me. It was that bad. So that whatever they screwed up 10 years ago needs to be fixed now, or whenever we can get this done. But they need to fix the drainage, they need to fix the holes on the right side, they need to fix the dips, the irregular pavement, the irregular lines, and the wide. It's just dangerous, especially at night.
I think whenever they do get ready to repave it, they should go to the 24-foot
Well,
width.
that was my next question.
Yep.
What he's saying, Mike? Okay. Sorry, to just keep. If, this is why I'm asking, who pays for the little fixes until we get to the next free money thing that happens with the government? I don't know how this is going to happen, but like if we don't fix the shoulders now, you're going to have to do the whole road in one, grind up and
Yep.
resurface.
That was a
I'm just
nightmare.
saying, that's what's going to end up happening.
And that was a nightmare when they did
So
do
whatever
it.
the arrangement, we might as well just fix it and patch it and wait, because if we're not going to do the shoulders now and grind them into the edges and make it like a monolithic, that's what they have to do. They just can't dump asphalt on the edge. That's not how it works. They have to make it bind.
Prep the shoulders, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
They need to fix it all.
here we are. What, Mike? It's you deal with these people. It must be brutal. I don't know. No wonder you have no hair. How do you deal with this? This is crazy. I'd go out of my mind emailing these people back and forth all day, because they're not in reality. I mean, this is what we need. Whatever. I don't know. What do you do?
Well, I was going to share, you don't mind me talking about this, they do hear a lot from the community also, especially like Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, about not widening roads out for a variety.
Certainly.
I don't care what they have to
So-
say.
They're balancing this,
Yeah.
trying to be sensitive.
Oh, that whole thing. They still just say that stuff over there?
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, that's, I mean,
They lost that horse left the barn on the
we're
vineyard a long
not,
time ago.
the whole widening thing was just
Just
a,
explain why
pretend.
the state is a little sensitive about
Yeah.
not coming in saying, we're going to make a 24, 26-foot wide road, added lanes, and do
No,
it so that, because
it's not what we're asking for.
I know, but that's.
And it's already wide open on that side.
I'm sorry.
It's already wide
No,
open
they
all the way
mentioned,
down
they
because of the bike
mentioned
path.
easements and takings. They have a 150-foot layout in Milestone Road. What was
No,
that
that's
about?
That's why we got the project, because there weren't any right-of-way issues with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
we're fortunate.
Town
to get
owns
this
it all the
money
way
in
out.
first place.
Okay. I saw that in the thing, and it didn't make any sense. All right, Mike, we don't have to belabor this. We appreciate everything. Does anyone else have any statements or questions?
We
for
still
Mike?
on the first
I'm
one?
really sorry, Mike, about,
Yeah, I do.
stuff happens.
And my comment, one thing is,
I have a big
if this
comment.
is a $10 million, and if we have to do it in sections.
Tom Nevers
if you
intersection.
have to
Oh,
ask,
no.
if you think it's smarter to
That's
ask,
in that.
I think
Out
we
to
need
Old
to
South
go
Road.
on that.
New South Road, if you want to do it in phases, or ask for it in phases, then we should do that. Because if we're going to sit and wait 35 years for $10 million,
That's a good point.
and you can sequence it and get to New South, that's the main truck route to New South.
That's a good point
Yeah.
when he's bringing it up. I didn't think of that.
With all the tanks.
What's that,
moving
2
out there.
miles, 2.5 to get there, something like that?
About that, and
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how saying productive projects like you're describing right now that you want to see. I can't stress enough how that's so good to go to like a meeting like next Tuesday and say that.
I'll be here.
Just with the.
Is that when they're here, 2 o'clock?
Yes. Now, we were told our target is right around $500,000, $600,000 for set funding. That's
Right.
It's not a lot. When it's the desire for a project like that is the community's very loud about voicing that. It's amazing how funding gets appropriated to projects like that above what our target actually is. So if you show up and are productive about describing a legitimate project that you'd like to see that does exactly something, like adds width to the lanes and adds shoulders. Say that, and that you actually want to see that, because again, that gets documented and seen. And if there's other communities that have projects that just, are dragging, and
Yeah.
just can't get implemented for a number, that money builds up.
So
and gets spent on
so the
communities like
shovel-ready
this.
thing, no pun intended with that, is true. Like, that kind of gets you to the front of the queue, as you would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mike, it's 2 o'clock
Okay.
next Tuesday, the 27th,
Correct,
in here.
correct.
We shouldn't call them crazy or stupid.
I don't
didn't
mind
say
doing that.
I certainly would never do that.
I don't mind doing that.
No, Mike, so go, I didn't mean to go beyond this. I meant just this milestone thing.
Sure.
It's still on the same
There's an
item.
action that I would request.
So what would the
All right,
action be?
I
for
still
this?
have a comment before we go to any action on this one, and he knows what it is. But going back to the 2 o'clock Tuesday, should we post it? I spoke to him earlier about it. We should
Oh,
post it
plan-
for the planning commission to members, more than 3 or more than whatever of us to show up.
You'll have a quorum.
Andrews, is that?
Definitely be a corner, could be a corner of the planning board there, so we do that.
Yeah, I
to
think we
happen,
should
too.
post for both the planning board and the planning commission.
I would say planning commission covers it because you would be speaking as planning commission members. and it's
Yeah,
a
not the
project.
planning board members.
Okay.
yeah.
Is that true, Andrew? I mean, that's a weird question. I've never had that come up. I can remember. In other words, if
He knows, he knows.
there's 3 planning board members, but there's not a quorum of the planning commission, does that mean there's a quorum of the planning board? Just asking.
Technically, yes.
That's what I thought, so,
So we should post both of them then.
yeah. I'm just saying, Mike, everything's a technicality today.
Yeah, I would agree. There's
Everything.
actions there, too.
I don't know.
So just to be safe,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that the planning commission and the planning board get posted for next Tuesday in here at 2 o'clock.
Planning board will be separate.
Well, we won't have time to vote as a planning board unless we do it now,
We
right?
got it, we don't need that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need a second?
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Whatever you
Okay.
think you need to do.
All right.
I do have a problem with
Yep.
this.
Go ahead with your Tom.
And you know, that Tom Nevers intersection, we never talked about it in here. We talked
We
about.
did a little bit.
No,
Yes,
we did not. We talked about Pulpus, Monomoy, the airport, the fairgrounds.
here.
All that stuff.
I think you missed the last meeting.
Yeah,
We did
she
talk
wasn't
about
here
it.
when we talked about it.
I was here the last meeting. I was sitting over there.
Because we talked about it for a long time.
Well, we talked about it in a private little meeting.
No, we did.
Well, I did.
All right. Linda.
They called me in, and you and
I'm just
I,
saying,
and
we
I
did
forget
talk
who else
about it.
was there. And I have a major, major problem with the way they have laid out Tom Nevers
You
intersection.
think it's too sharp right?
It's too sharp right, and people are coming too fast behind you and over that hill. And it should be moved down as far as they can get it down the hill away from Bean Hill. None of that has been done.
That's what they're doing in this new one.
No, they're not.
Show us
I
the
met with them-
picture,
I met with
Mike,
them and they
would
went
you,
over it with the guy
of
on the
this,
phone.
Without
It's
having
not.
to look it up in here.
Yep, that's it.
We wanted it pushed down to the bottom of the hill, as far away from Bean Hill. People coming up over that hill aren't going to see you. You're not going to see them. And you push it farther down, you can see the bikes clearer, and you can see the traffic, and they can see you coming across Bean Hill. You're flying across Bean Hill, so you can get cell service the minute you get over Bean Hill.
All right.
And there's no reason why it cannot be smoothed out more and moved down the hill. That's what I've asked for
So you,
every time.
she wants the,
He knows exactly what I want.
she wants this here,
Yeah, he
right?
knows.
Okay. I'm just asking.
But when you
That's
say
all right.
smoothed out, I mean, the
I want to
idea
be able to
is-
just turn off.
I understand, but part of the thinking is it slows people down so they can talk.
And so
about it.
somebody
She's
runs right up your ass.
But she's talking about the coming over Bean Hill issue.
I understand that.
The blindness
I
thing.
can't go by there now without thinking about
Yeah.
it.
It is true,
I
that
get it.
one thing.
And if somebody's
When
really
we get down
cruising
the hill.
behind you and you come to a
Right.
stop to take a right turn, good luck with that.
Mike,
Well-
this is one of these, can I just
Put the signal
say
on.
something to Mike for a minute? This is one of these things,
Yeah,
Mike,
if they're all paying
I
attention.
don't want to say that it's not broken, but it's not that
Not
broken.
perfect.
It's one of those, like Pulpus thing we talked about. You ever, like, we ever really did what's in that plan for Pulpus? Like, people will think we're like really mental. Like, it's too much. You know what I mean? It's
I've been through a few of these
There's
projects.
not-
The milestone rotary was a bad thing to do.
Yeah, but wait a minute, but Mike, that was before
Yeah.
we knew what a roundabout was.
Yes.
I told you why that happened.
Yes.
Now everybody's fine with it because they understand the difference. This is
Don't touch it.
looking at a book saying, well, what are they doing in Nantucket? This is a 22, like the coming down Williams Lane in front of Outdoor Power. You have to be an owl to turn your head that far. You can't turn your head. A human body cannot turn their head far
Use your
enough.
mirrors.
You can't.
Can't-
You have to
can't even see
stop
around
and
those
really
trees.
just open your window. That's been discussed at some of our meetings in the past years ago.
Traffic
But
safety,
it's
we did
still
it for
there.
years, traffic
I'm
safety.
just saying, it's some stuff isn't fixable. Like this one, I see as bearing right just works. Like now you're going to make cars slow down to take a right.
That ain't
I'm
gonna
just
work.
saying. And in some cases, slowing down from 40 to 20 isn't really beneficial. When they can slow down from 40 to 45 to like 30 or 35 and just kind of zoom bing. And they've been doing it since the
Time.
Navy base was standing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of the same.
Why can't it be taken off?
I mean, this money here should be going to the shoulders. I hate to sound like too simple, but it's true.
Again, this was another one of the improvements identified in the road safety audit. If we look at every inch of the corridor and try to identify safety improvements, there's legitimate reasoning why this is a safer condition than what is already existing. The crosswalk is shorter, you do
Yeah.
have slower traffic going.
I get the
crossing
crosswalk
like that.
part.
And
I agree with that,
The legitimate
but-
issue that was brought up for this
You have to run across
was
it somewhere.
with a sight distance
Yeah.
of verifying it from the Tom Nevers approach looking towards to the east of Wisconsin. I'm told by the engineers that's been verified and there is the appropriate sight distance. And quite honestly, I don't know if I can support a recommendation that doesn't improve safety to the maximum extent if there's not another issue that's conflicting with it, like reducing sight distance.
Then move it further down the hill, away from Bean Hill.
Then it becomes a right-of-way issue because that would be outside.
Is that
of the
private
roadway.
land down there?
Who owns
Yeah.
that mode?
That mode thing, Andy says private.
If we're trying to accomplish these improvements within the right-of-way that's already in place, and right now, this can be done within the right-of-way that's already there. You do get a shortened crossing distance for those trying to cross the intersection on the bike path. You do get slower traffic, so if there is a collision with a pedestrian trying to cross, if there is that may have the risk of losing a pedestrian or bicyclist in the intersection is greatly reduced.
Why can't you
And
just
there is
take
no impact
that?
to the sight distances
Why-
from the Tom Nevers approach, which was the original concern that needed to be verified.
Well, why can't you just move the whole thing, narrow it, but move the whole thing to the left, at least in this picture? Cut that big stupid thing off and move that one on the upside of the hill and move it down so the whole thing moves down the hill.
Honestly, there's like less than 10 feet here that you have to shift the intersection. I just really don't think you accomplish what you think you can accomplish within the layout. I'm assuming, sure, you can realign the road and acquire property and shift the intersection.
We already own the bump out on the left, don't we?
No, he's saying that you only
The
get
whole
10
big
feet
bump
to
out
go.
on the left we own, correct? Where the dotted line is here or
Mike,
something?
show where the current road is right now.
No, I'm talking about this.
He's talking about moving that
This
in.
off and move this that way. You're still within what we own.
It's a very acute angle for making a right-hand turn. I don't know if that can be accomplished.
What do you mean acute angle? It lessens the cut. It takes that bump out somewhat, and you move the top one down. What are you talking about?
What Linda's trying to say, Mike, is,
Put it back
I
where
know
it
what you're
was.
saying. I
And
just
he's
can't
already
say
heard
it
this
the
from me
same
for
way.
like an hour and a half at the other meeting.
But when the car is going to town, it has to stop. Currently, you have more time to react when there's a car zooming over Bean Hill coming to town, and you've stepped on the gas. There's more distance between you and the car the way it is now. The way you're doing it, you're getting the vehicle closer to Bean Hill.
Closer to Bean Hill.
That's what
That's
she's saying.
my problem.
That's all she's saying, Mike. That is true. I'm just saying, it's true.
We all agree about that.
But
Well, then why-
she's
why
saying,
stupid
why
you do
can't we
that?
move
The
the...
conflict that was created by doing that was reducing the sight distance. You wouldn't be able to see over the hill. You would have less distance. It went from 350 down to 3.
Whose site distance?
What are you talking about?
You can't see over the hill anyway from down there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
From this approach, I'm told, the engineer tells me that you will have 500-plus feet of sight distance.
Over
with this
Bean Hill.
configuration.
From where?
That's
From
ridiculous.
the from the Tom Nevers approach, looking
To the right?
right or to the east, yes.
Mike, wouldn't...
That's ridiculous.
Go ahead, hold on, let somebody from the left side here say something, sorry.
Careful.
Oh, well. No, I wasn't saying it that way, actually.
In meeting Linda's concern, I see the point, just sliding everything down, but instead of construction, why wouldn't we be able to accomplish the same thing with painting? And if you look at what we had done a couple years ago with Union Street and Washington Street, so now instead of that road coming out, we still kept that lane that veers off, and yet we did yellow painting, so it forces you to kind of come to that turn and make a left. You could do the same thing there, keeping the existing road with that V, and then as you're coming down the road here, you just have painting lines that make you turn, but that will accomplish what Linda's saying. It pushes you farther down without that crazy turn there that slows.
I see what he's saying. In other words,
I can point it.
the car would have to, if he striped it right, because people follow lines. They're like cows.
We do?
They do.
Could I?
No, they do. If he's saying, keep the road the way it is.
Lines
and
are our friends.
turn it more square so that the car that's leaving Tom Nevis to town doesn't line up at an angle. They line up more
Right.
square.
Can I
That's
show
what
that?
John
Nah,
is saying.
I'm going to step
Go
back.
ahead. That's a good point,
So
Mike.
if you're looking at this area right here, and
Yeah.
what Linda's proposing,
Go
I
that
agree
way.
with, here's the existing road. You can see the shadows. So here's where it turns, and here's where it turns. If you just take this, move it down, but instead of constructing with this area right here, you just yellow line it right here. So
Yep.
you're forcing the car to come this way, and now you're actually saving yourself the distance here. You can see where the old road was. But you're forcing this car coming this way to actually turn and come to that viewing where they can look left and right and see the hill. This doesn't, where
Get
you don't have this
affected.
hump here. This will continue
Stay the
to
same.
continue down here, and all you're doing is using yellow lines.
So we're getting the car, leaving Tom Nevis to do what we want with this stuff,
Coming up
but
with
keeping the
squares.
existing bearing right to stay the same, which is great, Mike.
Okay.
Even a little goofy triangular island wouldn't be a bad idea without doing all this.
We'll take the island that we've got over there on Pulpus and just move it over there.
Pick the island from Pulpit, Mike. Pick it up and move it.
Is that essentially what we talked about, John, is creating an island in the middle of the intersection?
But I'm looking at painted lines, and I'm a little worried about putting in a physical island in there, because people coming down
They'll
at
kill
that
the
speed,
island.
they'll
They'll
tear
hit
it
the
over the island.
But
Yeah.
So,
anything to
yes,
not
it's an
go that
island, but
far.
used with
But
yellow
you
paint.
just paint it on the street, then trucks, if they need that space, they can get over there. They're not having to
Take,
drive over.
Yeah.
just look at the Union Street and the Washington when you come out of town and you're going towards. You have to come out before you. Now you're making a right angle where you come to Union Street. You can make a right on Union, or you can make a left and continue.
This is where, I'll just speak up as for the bikers. This is one of the most dangerous places to cross as a biker on the island. Even if you stop and
Yeah.
you get started, you're at a dead stop or you're slowed down, people gun it to try to beat you. They're trying to gun it out of there. They're trying to gun it into
Because their
there.
heads are going back and forth,
Exactly.
looking up Bean Hill. It's
So
not
I-
because they're trying to run you over, Matt.
No, I
They're
know.
scared
Well, a few
that
of
there's
them
a
might
Bean.
be, but-
There's a scare. They're scared that there's a car
They're gonna get
flying
hit.
over
Matt,
Bean Hill.
they're coming over
That's
Bean
true.
Hill on that bike path at
That's
100
the
miles
reason.
an
No,
hour
I-
because they're
well,
going
so-
downhill,
so what
and
we're
there's a
talking-
stop sign
so
for
if we're
those
planning-
bikes,
if
and
we're-
they don't stop.
I
Bike
understand.
You
signs
can't
don't
legislate stupidity.
No, but it's both sides, Linda. It's the cars that are speeding, who are going 60 or 70, and it's the bikers not stopping. It's
60.
both things.
Not into that
Nobody's going
intersection,
that
I'm
fast.
going
Not-
60,
not
I'm
in the
coming to
intersection, but
stop.
coming over Bean Hill, cars are flying there, and they're flying up Sconset Road.
But they're not anywhere near the bikes, they're on the bike path. What
No,
the
I-
difference is
Mike.
that the
No, we
distance
can't
between the two is really long, Matt.
sorry.
The distance
This is-
between
this is
crossing
really
over is very long at that intersection because of the way it is.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. The shortening is going to make it safer for the bicycles.
So you
For
agree
the
with
bikes,
this?
but not for the cars.
Mike, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
No,
Matt, do you agree with this?
I agree. I agree with shortening it. I think if you could move it down like John's saying and shorten the distance for the bikers, and if you could slow the cars pulling into the Tom Nevers Road, if you could slow them down 10 or 20 miles an hour, you would make it a lot safer. It's
Well, the-
really dangerous as a bicyclist.
Well, the guys coming in from Milestone Road, taking a right onto Tom Nevers, can see the bikes right next to them, and they can see the bikes coming over the hill. You cannot legislate out stupidity of either the car or the bikes, of not seeing them and not, the bikes not stopping where
Mike,
the
have we
stop
ever
sign
had
is.
an accident here?
Oh, yeah.
We have? I'm serious. I know sometimes these statistics are sort
I mean, I
of
wish I
weird.
had it right on hand.
We've had, like, people getting hit
I
on
remember a
bikes.
couple
I'm
years
just
ago,
asking.
bicycles got hit at that intersection.
I don't know.
No, I've always
never
been
seen
close.
it.
People are flying there. They don't, and you say they see them, a lot of times they don't.
And the
It would
bikes
be,
are flying.
Mike, if
No,
Bean
bikes are
Hill
too, but-
And they're not
wasn't there
stopping
like
either.
that, this would be fine.
It's
the problem.
We had the meeting with the homeowners association and Tom Nevers. I provided all that crash statistics to Linda
Wow.
and to
Yeah, I saw it.
Bert and to
Okay.
Randy, Dual McIntyre.
Dual
Yeah.
McIntyre.
So how is their reaction to this?
It was basically sort of, if it's not broken, why are we fixing it?
Did they say that?
I think we all boiled it down to if this improvement reduced site distance, that made this a bad project. If it improved site distance, or
Which it doesn't.
then we should
One of the
say it's
things-
fine, but
Yeah.
that's.
It doesn't improve it.
Another
It
thing
just
that-
changes it.
You know what one of the most dangerous things is in this spot? People taking a left from Sconset. There should be
Stop.
signage that says, you gotta go on Chuck Hollow and go down to the fourth
That's
mile
a private
and turn
road.
around. What?
Chuck Hollow's
I
a
don't
private
care, you
road.
can take a left to go on Chuck Hollow if you feel like it with a car.
Yeah, if you want to, but you can't tell somebody to do that. It's a private
give up.
road.
Well,
Okay,
you're
I
planning
don't
to
care what
widen-
it
You
is.
want to widen
Right,
the road
that.
anyway, so.
No
I
president.
don't care what, if it's private or public,
Right
that
there.
doesn't mean
I got
anything.
big gates here, I can just close them
Close the
down.
gate. Those big white gates
Well,
can
if you
just
get
go
your
on.
wide-
You
close
just,
your
you
little
just
button,
answered
open.
everything right with that. So, I'm just saying, I mean, there's other issues that
Unless I
happen
go in there and get lost.
beyond the conventional stuff. People actually slam on their brakes to take a left, which is like a 170-degree left turn on Tom Nevers Road. This new gizmo will actually, as much as I don't want to admit it, will help that crazy scenario. It shouldn't be happening, but it does occasionally. But
So I'm going to kill a
I'm
gnat
just,
with a
I
hammer.
don't know what
I don't
to
know.
say.
Not,
I mean,
I'm killing a gnat
a
with a
little
hammer.
bit. But it
well,
doesn't
you
mean
still have
that
the
I
hill
want it.
there,
I'm just saying,
and you're shortening the
one out of
distance.
1,000
So if you're
cars do
stopping
that.
to make that left turn, I don't know if it's necessarily helping. You're actually hurting because it's being pushed
I'm
more
just
towards the
saying, as
hill.
far as the vehicle coming out, I like your idea about getting the vehicle to sort of adjust itself to be
Right.
more, it isn't going to be square with the road, but it's going to be
It'll separate.
less
Yeah.
angled. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea.
Well, then, what
Mike,
do we
how
need to
much
do then?
say do we have next Tuesday on something like this? I mean,
It's gonna do, it's gonna
I feel
Take
like
it
we're
out?
finding
What
a
do we
way
do?
to spend money, and we can't fix
So,
what's broken.
Mike, could we take the money and then just make an amendment later?
If you go further into the, because
I'm
Yeah.
just asking.
I like that idea.
it's still going on.
Why not?
Mike, I mean, this is your stuff.
money.
This stuff is, bring you to college to decipher this. This is insane.
I'm really trying to navigate around what are legitimate issues and trying to address those issues and give you that information. And like I said, as your staff person, I can't recommend that you approve something that isn't the safest thing possible. If this is something that is compromising that, I don't know. You can absolutely bring every one of your issues to the meeting on Tuesday
Oh, for
and
God's
see if
sakes.
they're addressed. I would want to say that you really need to ground this in some kind of we do have crash statistics that show there are accidents happening in this intersection. I mean, we identified possible solutions to make it even safer. And I think we verified that where it's going to be a safer environment after when the project's complete. To not do that, I mean, you tell me. I think we're getting to very basic public service at that point, saying, would you really not want to do something that's as safe as possible for?
I mean, that's like
I think we need to have
a gotcha
alternatives.
question, a way of doing it. I mean, I
We're
could
being
make
forced
the
to do
case,
something we don't necessarily agree with.
I mean, I could make the case that passing mopeds is more dangerous in this intersection all day long in Wisconsin
Oh
Road.
my God, they're horrible. I hate
I'm telling you,
those
it's true. I don't care. True.
things.
So,
Yeah, no mopeds.
no, mopeds are good. There's nothing wrong with a moped.
And
It's
they're
just,
scooters, not mopeds anymore.
well,
they're
whatever they are,
scooters.
scooters.
With a
So,
low wheelbase.
I'm just
If
saying,
there was a utility issue that's holding this up, if there was a permitting issue holding this up, right-of-way, cost, I could list a number of different reasons to hold this up. It's just, the project was identified and it's doable.
So they're finding a way to spend money because we have the right of way.
But we're being told what to do. And they're not here. They're not practically using that intersection.
to pay for
To
it.
not do it. And quite honestly, if we can't articulate a good reason to not implement this project,
How about, because we'll look like idiots? Is that
Yeah.
a good one?
How about that?
Because we will. I'm just telling you.
okay.
It'll be a weird
Is
reaction.
it a cultural reason? I mean, there's lots
No,
of
we just
very
listed a whole
legitimate
bunch of stuff,
reasons.
Mike. Are you not listening? Move it down the hill. Or do what John suggested, which directs
John's
traffic.
suggestion would
I
cost
like
about
John's-
$100, and it
Yeah.
would be a good
More
trial for
striping.
1 year. No, I'm serious.
I'm serious.
And I'm just,
It would work.
John afterwards will scribble something
I
up.
like that idea. I didn't think of that.
Again, that's an idea we can, that's the whole point of Tuesday is to again,
Is a test. Mike, John's idea is like one summer trial, because that's the other thing, do they understand that we go to 65,000 people and
They have
8
no
zillion
clue.
bicycles and mopeds from all like waving to each other part of the year? I mean, do they know that? Because it's completely different. I mean, it is. And I don't know what time of year, what is better or not in some cases, but this here is, everybody that's going to Tom Nevers during the day in the summer, most everyone is already going there.
They
Like,
live
they're
there.
not going there for like a ride to like look at the ocean. They're driving home or to someone's house.
yeah.
Everybody sort of understands that bearing right is sort of a flick your directional with your index finger and kind of to the oncoming car knows that they can look at Bean Hill longer. That's how it works, Mike. That's why we have to double stripe for the other reason I told you on Bunker. Because people assuming, well, that vehicle's taking a right, so I can concentrate on what's coming the other way. That's what happens. I mean, I don't know what else.
Is this looking
to
down
say.
the road too? I mean, there's a lot of developable land in Tom Nevers, so, I mean, this is only gonna be growing out there.
Not really. It's all 2 acre,
Not
3 acre
really.
zoning.
Big zoning,
Yeah, big
crazy
zoning.
out there.
Big zoning.
Yeah, actually not.
Not.
Really?
The little
There's
roads
no-
all
there's no
have
sewer.
I
houses
know
on
the
them.
original zoning was
No, but it's
chaotic
not
and they had
that.
to double them up
It's
to
the
make them-
zoning.
You know, one size is big zoning.
You got lug 3 over 1 acre
Like-
lots,
and
you
you
got
got lug
lug
2.
3 and 3 acre.
120 on one side and, what,
80?
5,000?
Yeah.
No, that's, no, it's still that large.
Still
Those are
lot
just
3 though.
Those are pre-existing
Well, I'm just looking
lots.
down, how
Yeah.
much down the road are we looking
Yeah,
on
it's
this
still
project?
2 or 3
That's the
acres.
thing, if you're gonna spend a bunch of money on it, it's gonna, if it does grow more, if you change.
I mean,
There isn't any more
I would
growth.
look at this
about everywhere.
particular intersection plan.
All the stuff on the
Mike,
Navy
seriously,
base is
not
owned by
being-
us,
is
Housing Authority.
John's idea is a
15
test,
acres.
and we have the right of way
Never
forever.
redeveloped.
So there's never going to be a problem with, are we going to like lose, you're not going to tell me that we're going to like lose the money to another community. Are you going to say that?
No,
That
like we had
scares
talked
me.
about initially, if there was a legitimate sightline issue there,
Yeah.
we would have requested, listen, we don't want to make this more.
I like to take the money and
less
then do what we
safe.
want.
We want this to be the safest thing possible. So we would have asked that this be taken out as there's more than just this intersection as part of the milestone.
I know, when we saw it all, it's better. I know.
So, asked to take it out, and you can still do that.
That's what we're
Because I
gonna
can
do.
tell you, like, nobody at Wisconsin, nobody at a milestone's worse than
There are
that.
a lot of issues that, I'm still searching for the reason for why not to do it, other than just the cultural, that it's changed.
I don't think practical use and practical way people drive here and use that intersection is cultural. It's the
Yeah.
way it is actually physically used.
Like, this
And
is
these
one of
guys
the
are a
few
bunch of
places
guys
that
sitting
you
around
have
with
to
a bunch
use
of
the
piece of
directional to
paper
go
and an
straight.
engineering degree. They're not here when this is all going on. Just like those idiots that sit in the pucka bushes taking traffic things in the middle of March saying, oh, that's your traffic count, but they're not here August 1st. We've had that discussion.
Well, Mike, okay,
Yeah.
so go to the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, that we would need to request to have this done, and like I say, this conversation is good, I think it's healthy, and I'm not discouraged at all, because I've been through too many of these conversations with projects in the past, over the last 17 years, that weren't necessarily popular, like roundabouts, but now are accepted treatments in the community. So I think it's a
Can I-
very healthy discussion we're
Can I,
having.
can I
Not at the
just, can I
school.
give you a point on this, just for a second? I got something that I think you'll understand better with what we're all saying.
Okay.
Remember that time we lost a project in the big whatever, and you said, well, we got this Pulpus Road little piece, we're gonna grind it up and fix this little section of Pulpus Road? That was only like 3 years ago, right?
The resurfacing.
Just that little piece.
Yeah.
that was like, didn't really need to get done, but there was something ready. This is different because it's Sconset Road, because there's so many other things wrong with Sconset Road that spending it on stuff that's not,
Critical.
like, it's sort of like fixing something that isn't broke, that is a little bit broke, but the big broke can't get fixed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I would correct you on the Pulpus Road and say that that actually needed to be, because our.
All right,
the
but-
FEMA management
but we
index
could only do a little
right
piece.
read that, and that we actually fixed the problem. $300,000 could be spent somewhere else in the community by the DPW instead of using Chapter 90
Right,
funds.
right.
So it was actually a very
Right,
legitimate
right,
project.
Well, how about Sacagawea
I
Pond, where the
guess
road's
what I'm
still not
saying, Mike,
open?
is we patched up a section, but there's other stuff. We just found something to use it on. I was trying to make a comparison. Maybe it wasn't a good
That's
comparison.
something I need.
Okay.
Now, do you
But we
need a-
can't fix the edges of the road on Sconset Road because it's too
You need a
expensive.
vote on this or something?
The action that I need is to advertise a public review period to amend the TIP to include this project. And that's in
But then we can
public
come,
notice that's in your packet on page 21, that this will be edited, but essentially it includes the funding to amend the FY 2018 to 2022 Transportation Improvement Program to add the milestone, improvements on Milestone Road. And again, the value of this is $2.6 million.
I don't
To
mind-
amend the TIP to include this project in it.
I don't mind making that motion, provided that Tom Nevers intersection's taken out, unless we can come up with something that makes sense
Well, leave
for
it in there
here.
now, Linda, and.
But
they can-
what
they gotta
she's-
come
we
out
need to
discuss
amend-
it
No,
with
but
us.
what
No,
she's
no,
saying.
this is beyond
This
that.
is the problem with that. No,
That's beyond that. It's
is
gotta go back to the state.
It looks like we're approving something and then we're against it at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'll make that motion.
You know what I mean?
I'll second it, I'm not against it
Yeah,
either.
let's just move on here. Please.
Okay, so motion was made and seconded.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So Nolan Way is opposed?
And John?
And John,
I mean, I don't like to get stubborn.
And I'm gonna
but
keep fighting
I can get
this.
stubborn once in a while.
4-3.
I don't mind the rest of what's going on. This I have a problem
I think
with.
we need something.
We need to have, Mike, we need to be able to talk to them people, like, at the right thing. I mean, I don't want the planning commission to look like we're just tail wagging the dog stuff when it's something that got in the paper. This got in the paper. Most people don't read any of this stuff.
But
And it just
somehow they
happened.
did.
This is different, because it got in the paper. People are calling us, what are we doing, shrinking the road? I mean, I'm just saying. So now there's emphasis on the states doing something. People's names they've never seen before and all that. You know what I'm saying, Mike? I'm just explaining how people think here. When they see the tip stuff, they just skim that over because it's just stuff, bike paths. This is different. This is the most important road on the island as far as you have. You know, the other issue, head on. People are real close to each other on this road because the traveled way is so small. Forget about bikes and mopeds and all that stuff.
And
I'm
you get dragged
strictly
into one
talking
of
about
those,
vehicles.
and you get dragged into one of those puddles. I've been thrown into that left
It
lane.
gets sucked in, your tires.
That
I'm just,
whole, they screwed up the
Yeah.
whole length of it, and we have got to fix it.
So Mike, a real question, when would the actual construction physically start in the fall?
Yeah. We would need to amend the TIP. Hopefully that'll get done by May. The project will be advertised either June or July, and then construction will start in the fall.
That specific intersection, or Pulpus,
The whole project.
Monomoy,
the pieces
the whole pieces?
for this 2
These
Six,
improvements
thanks.
on Milestone Road that are, I mean, we can go through the plan.
So
So we're going to be stuck with this whether we
So-
like it or not.
Hypothetically, if we painted the lines as we were describing for the summer, in the highest traffic time of the year, and it worked well, we've got that, too many pieces are in place to start the construction in the fall, is what you're saying.
You
So
can't
it
take
would
it
take
back.
place. You wouldn't be able to say, wait, we don't need this after doing an entire summer test study.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the sequencing and construction, but if you don't want that specific intersection improvement part of this project, then, you know, that's why they have the preliminary public hearings to hear that from the.
So if we go next Tuesday,
But how do
talk
we
to
get it
them,
out?
and then we can come back on the 26th and sort of fix this, or no? On the 26th of April? I'm just asking.
We're stuck with this now, aren't we?
No, you can absolutely take it. I would ask, don't hold up the advertisement of the TIP amendment, because that's something that really needs to take place. If you want to take a vote to say you don't support the improvements as proposed in the preliminary plan for Milestone improvements, that's fine, and we should go to the meeting on Tuesday, and then.
I support
Nobody
everything
likes the
else but that
improvements.
intersection. How do you get that
Even the
across?
Monomoy thing? Just messing with you.
I don't like Monomoy thing, but I'll vote for that. But I support everything
It's
else.
acceptable kooky
but
versus this.
that.
Like I said, nobody's trying to change the culture or the physical appearance of the island. I mean, this is your staff making these.
That's not what they're saying.
I
That's
just
not
want to
what I'm
remind, we
saying.
were outvoted, Linda, 4-3, so right now,
I mean,
it's still,
if you're taking the vote here, I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
we've
guys,
already-
Let's move on to the next item.
yeah.
I want it out.
I think we.
Well, we'll talk
Come to that
to
meeting on
them
Tuesday.
on
Well, but
Tuesday.
here's the problem, though. If it's a 4-3 vote, and you're speaking as individuals then, and I think we have to be careful. If there's things we want them to do, like widen the road and put the sidewalks on, I don't think we want to spend a lot of time, on this one intersection when we've got in my mind, a lot bigger issues on that road.
Matt,
Which is why I wanted this out.
But that's my
and concentrate
reason
on
for
everything
saying,
else, Matt.
when people
This
see,
is still in there is a big deal.
Matt, I agree with everything you said, except that project is going to raise a lot of questions when they see how big of a deal this is. This is a big project to change that bulb thing. That's not just a couple shovels and a paving machine. They're reconstructing that intersection. People are going to go, what are we doing?
Which is
I'm
why
just saying, that's
I
what's
didn't
going
want
to
it
happen.
in. I wanted everything else but that intersection in. So we
Everything
can
you said, I agree
concentrate on
with.
everything
Up
else.
to that,
All
okay,
I'm saying is
well,
if we go to a meeting and it sounds
Yeah.
like this for 45 minutes, I think we're going to miss the big picture. The big picture is that the road needs to be widened at least to New South Road, and it needs to get the drainage fixed. And I just think this, in my mind,
natural runoff works, it's
But
just
then
the road's
take
too
this
narrow.
out and concentrate on the stuff that needs to be done. That's
No,
what I
I'm saying
did.
is that's not an offer, right?
Yes, it is. We could have voted to take it out.
Nat,
If we voted 4-3, we would have been able to take that piece out. Just that piece.
And you should have put a cut in it to let the water come
No,
out.
but that's what the specs showed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't.
but
The
common
specs,
sense is
I
tell the
sat,
DPW to come out there and fix it.
no,
Come out on a rainy day and here's the puddle,
I don't-
cut a hole right there in the berm so that the water runs off the
Yeah,
road.
yeah.
Otherwise, it just sits there and Linda goes flying through it.
all right.
I wasn't even,
all
I
right.
was going 20 miles an hour because
Okay,
I couldn't
let's-
see a damn thing.
Forget it. Oh, my God. All right,
It's
sorry
still
about all that.
something.
I just,
I've never
it
had
is a
that happen.
passionate issue, something like this. Okay, so.
But we could have taken it out had the vote gone the other direction.
We lost.
All right, so public review, Mike, on the tip. That's what you were talking about at the end of your last sentence, wasn't it?
Number
think.
2.
Is this the advertising?
Yeah, and it's just that was for the tip amendment.
Okay.
To amend the tip, and I should also, and I've got so distracted here. I had another table that,
Page 19 to 24.
the amendment for the tip, just as an FYI, an item from the first item, it's for the milestone improvements. If there is some local funding that's identified, $70,800, we did win a grant about $280,000 for design of the wall in it like that. You might remember we had.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
any
actually did
conversation.
That grant, but there's still a local match that was not supported through the local capital process, but we do need to find about $70,800 if there's private contributions or some other public monies
There could be.
that could serve as that match. Then we would amend the tip at a future date again to add the wall minute bike path design to that tip.
I'll make that motion.
That's good. Okay.
What's item B here?
I don't know if there's action needed. It's basically if there's local match found, the $70,800, then we can add the wall in it project to the FY18.
So we need to go back to capital to get the 70 from ourselves. for
Or
this.
free cash.
To use the 280.
Or free cash.
Or free cash, or an NIR and donates it, or somebody
Yeah.
else.
So in other words,
donates
we
it.
have 280, but we
Yeah.
need 70 more
Correct.
of
Yeah.
other money.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't need a
Sometimes this
motion.
money stuff is like,
Okay.
I have to figure out what you're saying.
We don't need a
Okay.
motion for that, Mike?
No, that's.
Okay. An FYI.
Whatever happened to the wall in it thing about linking it and all that? Remember how that conversation, is that just, there was a conversation not maybe a year ago about utilizing some of the beaches to make it more attractive in the states, how they look at that, something like that. I can't remember how this was all thought, it was discussed though. Never
move
mind.
on.
Trying to.
There was something, I don't know if Andrew brought that up or somebody did.
It's not on the
I
agenda.
remember that.
Not the bike path.
Yeah, there was something, but that's all right. It's about grants and stuff.
What are we?
Maybe
which
that was the
number?
grant we got, the 280, I don't know.
Which number are we on?
We're on the B or
2?
We're on 2, but I think we're off it now.
B2. And this is the advertisement that's behind you. Just a heads up, we for the FY19 through 23 TIP, there are no projects that are advanced far enough to program in the TIP, but at the bottom of the page, there's a number of candidate projects that you're aware of. The Surfside Bartlett Road Roundabout, we'd like to program that in FY19.
I thought we were.
The design of that, there are some preliminary design plans submitted to Mass DOT for review or to be programmed into the TIP formally. The design of that roundabout is literally just started. There'll be a public outreach session on May 17th.
For which roundabout?
For
Bartlett.
the Bartlett Surfside
Oh, at the
roundabout.
school?
So if that project advances and preliminary plans can be submitted to the state, we can add that to FY19, but right now that project just isn't advanced enough to.
And you can't do any of the in-town stuff because that's getting done with this other process now.
I'll go down the list of projects right here.
Okay.
I'll put each one of them.
Okay.
The
Really?
next project, it may be a candidate project
already
for
know
including the
these.
tip, is the in-town bike path, the Orange Street and Washington Street phases. That could be a candidate project to add if there's preliminary plans that advance to, for a future year. There's another intersection as part of the old South Corridor study, the Milestone Rotary project. If that project advances, that could be a potential project for programming into the tip. The same for the Milestone and Over Deer Farm Road intersection. That could be another project.
And where does Article 15 fit in all this?
That is.
I'm just saying.
That funds the Milestone Rotary and the Milestone and
Fairgrounds.
Farm Road. Those two projects are identified in that article.
Yeah.
If those projects are funded in the TIP.
We'll just do
then-
other
then
stuff in
there's
the
no- Then there's no local need for local aid.
Okay.
Do you need a motion on this one?
I mean,
No, I need to, we will ask at the April town meeting, April monthly meeting
Yeah.
to
Start that comment period?
start the public review period, yes.
I have a question. How close is the in-town Orange and Washington Street like that? How close is the road on that?
There's a.
We'll do that later today, yeah.
Yeah, I can update you when we go to the item C.
So wait till we get
No,
rid of this
I'll
one.
wait for that. I knew that was coming, but.
all right.
you know,
So no
I'm
motion.
glad to see it there, and I think that takes priority over a lot of things.
All right, so no motion is needed on this one.
I'm required by my DOT to consult with you about eligible projects for the TIP.
Okay, and what about number 3?
Okay.
What's number 3? Same thing?
DWP.
UPWP, and I didn't even talk about the transit projects, but those are in your packet as well. The UPWP, there's in your packet on what page is that? 24. A draft work program. As we talked about last month, we have an incredible increase in the amount of funding for the transportation planning activities, about almost $270,000.
Yeah.
And those funds have been appropriated in the draft schedule that's in your packet. I just need to talk to you about that and share with you what the draft program looks like. And then next month, we would ask for the initiation of the public review period that we would approve in May.
So nothing now?
Nothing
Until you get that going.
Consultation, if anything looks, odd, we'll
Mike,
talk about
I
that.
couldn't even follow that stuff if you paid me. So that's all right.
Just to highlight livable, the item 3.1, livable, sustainable, complete streets. We use that task to fund the Old South Road Corridor study, and there is $25,000 for any type of supplemental study or future study related to that program for this FY19 program.
Okay, so you don't. So,
Nothing there.
So, yeah, get to the C thing. It'd be good to explain the remain
Yeah.
issue
Because
because I thought
you met with them today, right?
Remain Nantucket hosted a public outreach forum to go over their progress. Again, they're using VHB, who we've used in the past for that project. They went over an interim signage and pavement marking plan that could be done before the summer season. Basically striped with sharrows along Washington Street and Orange Street, marking a section of bike lanes that can be marked right now along Orange Street, essentially from the Rotary to the vicinity of East Creek Road.
there's a lot of width there.
Lionel with, and DPW requested a plan showing what the striping should look like. That's been done by VHB, provided DPW and was field checked last week. So that's an interim measure that would be done for that project. What they're calling a short-term, or really a midterm project is the, sorry, there's a set of plans in here for the interim striping and signage plan. I can answer any questions about that. But what's also impacted is the VHB's study showing nothing new. This shows the bike lane strategy along Warren Street, the complete stretch from Marine Home Center down to the Rotary, and a bike lane scenario along Washington Street. The next long-term phase shows both a off-road facility along Washington Street, along the water side of that roadway, and that Harbor Walk project from Spruce Street around the back of the
I love that idea.
It's gonna be good to
to the Rotary.
That's my favorite part of this whole plan.
No, it's it can happen now because it's not going to be for bicycles.
Well, you got Concom
So
and
it's a
everything else
chance to
deal
make
with.
this happen.
You got DEP and Concom and everybody else.
Mike,
So
in signage for not passing or sharing is
We don't
in
want
their
too
little
much
plan,
signage.
because people, that's the issue. I mean, you make a bike lane, but theoretically, the car
Is driving in the bike lane.
there isn't enough width, so keeping people not passing bikes on Washington Street with some kind of signage, maybe, hopefully, half of them will obey it. Because by the time you get to the electric company, the bicycle is already passing you anyway, you know? It's
Going
pointless,
faster than the
pass a
car.
bike. Shouldn't pass a bike till you get to Marine Line, but in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the idea is to have
So-
4-foot bike lanes on either side where it's possible. There will be sections along Orange Street where the road just isn't wide enough to do bike
not,
on
no.
both sides of the road, so that in those
Where are they getting
situations,
that
you'll
from?
get this kind of configuration where one lane will be marked with Sharrow, and then the other lane will be striped for the bike lane. And that'll be part of an interim measure until the next short-term, midterm phase can, essentially.
When there's more land. I know,
When there's
I know
more
what you're
land,
looking for. I know what
Right
you're
now,
saying.
they're
And
11
honestly,
feet
this
wide.
is a less
Those
expensive
big trucks, now it's
way
going down to
implementing
2.
something
That's not gonna
proportional
work.
rather than doing a full-blown reconstruction of the roadway to build the bike lanes.
Okay.
All the trucks go down there. That 10-foot width is going to be a real problem.
It'll just work the way it has, just has different painting.
Just have to be
Well,
careful.
We'll be driving in the
comments
bike
that They're being forwarded to VHB. Honestly, the section that's done now on Orange Street in front of Henry Junior's, that's 2 11-foot lanes and then
Funny
2
with that.
4-foot bike lanes
Right?
instead of the 5-foot bike lanes.
That's
and
the way it
10-foot
should
road.
be. Not 10-foot bike. You get swing-out mirrors on those trucks.
I agree.
No, I mean, we
A lead 10 feet is not
only got 10
enough.
feet on Sconset Road, so don't worry about
A
it.
parking space is 9 foot wide.
It's true.
What is the truck to do?
No, I'm just serious, I hate to make it laugh, but it's true. 10 feet on Sconset Road, 10 feet on our street's gonna be fine,
They just knock you right off the
right?
bike.
I mean,
No, it's
Well,
not, because you
no,
got bike
I
space.
laugh.
Bike paths.
There's
no,
bike
but
path on
people aren't,
Milestone Road.
but people aren't passing, you know.
They try.
I think what they're trying to do, because I went to one of these things and met them, I think this is a good idea. It's sort of to get people to look at something, to tell them what to do without talking.
they-
They're looking at lines, looking at
Yeah,
paint.
can they stop? I can't hear you with them doing this.
Bert. So, okay, I mean, that's what I think they're doing. Mike, so,
The next step,
Yeah.
which I think alludes to
Is-
my question, is we would proceed with design of the short midterm range projects for Orange Street and Washington Street.
so are they bringing the company over here with the striping machine stuff, or is the DPW doing it?
I think DPW is doing the striping. There was discussion of
Really?
using a truck, but
They haven't done a straight line yet, you know.
I didn't say that to get that answer, I just asked the
I'm
question.
just saying.
Okay.
so that's,
They messed
All
up
right.
the lines down there when they first did that bike
Um,
path coming off the railroad track.
All right, Mike, so that's it for the VHB remain component? Okay,
No vote there?
no,
It was just
this
an
is all
update.
private.
comments.
Okay.
It's all private in-house, right?
For public good, that's why it's
Yeah.
important to, and I'm sharing these plans with traffic safety
They're
and with the bike.
they're coming to right-of-way committee Tuesday.
And with the roads and right-of-way committee, so the idea is to get any
Can't be
comments or objections. to
Well, no,
any of these,
You're going away, aren't you?
as if it was a public,
When are you gone from?
project.
Yeah.
The one concern, well, not
When are you
one,
going?
a major concern I have is
When are you coming back?
Washington Street outbound, if we're pushing people to go down Washington Street Extension now on a bike, there may have to be a stop sign on Washington Street.
This is a wicked important point, Mike. In the old days, in front of, there used to be a stop sign there.
Where?
Well, it is kind of, this is the problem with the way we drive here, Mike. Just like the Tom Never thing. I hate to bring it up, but people don't only stop, and you have to use your left directional to go straight on Washington Street. You know what he's talking about by Gail Christmas' mother's house
Because
on the
you're
corner?
going out of town, you get to Washington Street, you take a right.
Francis.
Yeah, Francis.
But Francis and Washington, no, but when you,
But
if you're coming, if you're driving
I
from
do
town,
not agree with
Mike, if
that.
you're driving from town, and you want to go to sales, you just don't go
Straight ahead.
straight, because the person that's
Coming
coming
is
out
gonna go
thinks
right
you're
in.
taking a right, because everybody takes a right. This is why
I put a
Nantucket is
blinker on.
different. You
Well,
gotta
this is
use your
the
left
problem.
direction.
I put a
But in
blinker
the
on.
summertime, people don't do that.
No,
I
but
put
as
a
a-
blinker
No.
on to go straight.
No, but as the problem though is the bikers don't, a lot of the bikers are gonna be now, they're gonna be asked to go straight
No,
ahead. That's what I'm telling
I
you.
was trying to explain to Mike about cars. The bikes is the same issue, except bicycles are
You wanna
they're
back
not
up
going to
traffic?
put their
They
left
should-
You want to
arm
back up
out.
traffic
They should be
across
putting,
Main
they
Street?
should be putting a left-hand lane, they should be putting up their hand out and tell you they're going straight,
Now,
but they
Matt,
don't know to do
In
that.
fairness, though, in this whole that intersection, when the two buildings move and it gets widened, the turn, it's going to make it so much better for visual. You cannot see. There's a lot of weird stuff goes on there with not just trucks, cars too. I think that there's going to be a need for a paint plan or some kind of way to prevent what he's talking about,
Or a
because
sign
it's
that tells the
true.
bicyclists to signal. Cars and bikes
It's
going
a
left,
weird
signal. Something-
thing, Mike,
If you're
just
gonna
like-
try to move people through there quickly, it's which
Well, he's
it's
getting
it's
upset.
dangerous.
She's getting upset.
You don't want a stop sign there.
But it is true, Mike. But I don't think we have to worry about it now, Matt, technically, but we will be dealing with it. I mean, if you, Hooper Farm Road, if they paved the real Hooper Farm Road, you would have T-bone cars all day long from Surfside Drive because everybody just pulls right out in front of the cars because everybody takes a right. So it's a weird thing to improve that intersection. It's going to make a new Nantucket nuance happen. Just saying.
And I agree with you, that's
It's weird.
The striping and the markings at that intersection are incredibly important.
Yep.
I think it'd
In front of the
be
1821 house.
Mr. Chairman, I think it'd be extremely wise to carry the bike lane through a dashed, because there's basically a right hook it creates that conflict, to carry the bike lane through that intersection.
Through that
Yeah.
intersection, onto
Absolutely.
Washington Street Extension.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you put those little bicycles in that path, right?
Really?
I mean,
Dealey's going
anything,
up.
it doesn't matter. However we figure out how to do it,
Well, you do it with
it
dash.
really
You don't-
needs
you
to
don't have a solid
happen.
white line, you do it with dotted lines.
Yeah.
Because then
Okay.
you know coming into town that there are bikes coming across there.
They have the
as well.
right.
And we have a stop sign coming into town.
Correct.
Okay, what else?
All right, so that's cool. Do you need a vote on that, Mike? Or something?
was an
No.
FYI.
There's a lot of comment. That's really
FYI.
necessary.
Okay.
Maybe action to support the,
I mean, we definitely support to remain what they're doing. This is huge.
we'd like to take action to support the preliminary plans that were in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous. Okay.
Leslie's contract.
What
I
was
voted
that?
in favor of something. How about that?
We're not against things, Mike.
How about
It's
that?
just
First,
the community was, oh my God.
And that one person in the public came to see us vote in favor of something. There you go.
Okay, so the next thing is
Leslie's contract.
Leslie's contract, page 39, 41. I've read over it. Does anyone have any questions?
Ooh.
Andrew, do you want to say
Oh,
anything?
goodness.
Or
Well,
Yeah.
obviously, I support you taking action on this contract. There's really no significant change. The salary is updated, be consistent with the town recommendations, so that'll be a 2% increase based on her review at that time. So I would ask you to move forward with it unless there's any concerns.
does anyone have any questions or comments, or
I'll make a motion to
Accommodations.
approve the contract.
is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous. Eleanor, I almost said Linnell, sorry. Congratulations, Leslie. Thank you for coming and sitting through the local yammering session.
Thank you for renewing my contract.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Other reports?
no, other committee reports, stuff. This lady that's here, what is your name? And do you have anything to add? Or we never get anyone to come to these meetings, so I feel like you got to say something. Okay. Okay.
Just to clarify, I obviously saw the advertisement.
See, Mike?
And I actually thought that, yes, I understand the language was incorrect regarding some of the designation, but I don't think that something like that should not be posted, because I do think that all of these, whether it is, for instance, something that the state understands, which is the cultural being an objection to something. I think what you're talking about now in terms of the Nantucket way of approaching certain intersections, or how we know certain places to be a certain way, there's an expectation of people who spent time on the island, and so I was just curious to hear how that would be addressed in the master.
That's great.
Do you want to do me a favor and give Eleanor your name?
Yeah, would you do that? Just go up and see her for a second? Okay. Anyone else have anything? Housing?
No.
I'm done with Capcom. Steamship, don't even ask me what's going on.
Oh, that's-
Everything's fine.
that's
I'm going to a
books
crazy meeting tomorrow
That's
that's been
books ready
postponed
today.
3 times.
There's
What
books
happened to,
ready today,
why did
right?
the boat stop?
The books, the fuel pump in the main tank. It's all set, fixed. Thank you. The other boat is going, was kind of left meant right for a while. I don't know what happened, electronics. The books are on sale today. Don't forget, 20%. Not to say that that's like anything. I don't know. People forget, though, and then I get in trouble. They've extended it past the day the boat comes back just to make up for people forgetting. Like
Yeah.
1 day or
You
2
remind
days.
me every year, and I forget every year.
Then people go down there when the boat's back and they can't get the book. Pretty crazy.
And then the latest rumor was that the steamship was going to give up the fast boat.
I haven't heard that rumor.
I
That's
was like,
that's a rumor.
"What?"
That's a big rumor.
That was a big rumor, and I'm going,
No.
we got it on good authority. And he said, well, I'll go right to you.
So no, that's not happening. But anyway, yeah, Woods Hole. Anyone that's been down there in the last whatever decade, that building that we used to sit behind to go side load the nosh on is no longer there. Sorry to
Well, my daughter was over there.
tell you.
And she came back on the next boat after that one. It died. But she went over there with her husband for a disc golf tournament. And the boat before the one she was going to take to come back was the one that stopped.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fixed now. So I mean, it was just a fluke. All these things happen in like 2 days from each
The
other.
TV stations make it sound terrible.
I know,
Well,
they're
just spent
looking for it.
Spent $17 million on this boat for refurbishment, and it
And
runs
the part
stops.
that
Yeah,
stopped
it was all
working
over
didn't
the
have
news,
anything to do with it, which is
That
crazy.
wasn't us, guys. That's what's holding.
Thank you, everyone.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye.